Hello world, my name is Lydia and thank you very much for clicking on this video today. Okay, we have a lot to talk about in this video with patch OB44 that's coming to Paladins. It's the season 1 update, so let's not waste any time and just get right into it. So this starts the beginning of season 1 for Paladins, and you might be wondering what exactly that is. Really, it's kind of just a way to say that there are a lot of huge changes coming to the game. Right now, it's currently on PTS, and hopefully it will be on the live servers Monday or Tuesday. That would be February 20th or 21st-ish. So let's jump into the nitty-gritty, look at the details, and see how it's going to affect you in your gameplay. So one major change is going to be legendary cards. I'm not going to go super deep into legendary cards in this video. I'm saving that for another video. So a lot of the changes you're going to see with champions in this patch and in these patch notes are going to be with specific champions legendary cards and each of their legendary cards, and I'm not going to go over those in this video. I'm going to go into more detail in a different video. But really quick, let's just kind of do the TLDR of legendary cards and how they work. So legendary cards are another type of advancement to your champion that you will select before the game, before your loadout. So right when you're queuing up, before you choose your loadout, you'll choose one of 3 legendary cards. Advantages of these cards can range from headshots do 50% more damage, all the way to healing can do double the healing, but also the cooldown is increased. So it can range from what they do. Now, like I said, you get to choose from 3 cards. You don't automatically have them. You have to buy them with something called Essence, and that's another currency that's added to the game. Now, how do you get Essence? Well, right now you get Essence from Radiant chests. Now, how do you get Essence? Well, you get Essence from Radiant chests. And as you can see, they've made Radiant chests purchasable for gold now, so you don't have to only use gems for them. Now, instead of getting gold for duplicate items that you get in chests, you'll get Essence instead. And I'm sure also in the Radiant chests, it will come standard with Essence as well. Right now, that's really the only way you get Essence is through Radiant chests. Now, another change that's coming to your generic loadout cards is now they have rarity. So they have common, rare, and epic. And the ability that's tied into those cards is just going to depend on the rarity of them. So as you can see in the example, Onslaught 1, Onslaught 2, 3, and 4 are the ranks of the Onslaught card. But Onslaught itself is an epic card, and epic is the type of rarity it has. Because of these changes with your regular loadout cards and your legendary cards, they've changed the way the loadout screen looks and how the score screen looks. That way you can see what your opponents have taken and see what you have taken and see what your teammates have taken. I'm not really sure about the necessity of legendary cards. I kind of feel like it's just one card that just has this huge crazy buff, but at the same time it also allows you and your opponents for that matter to mix things up a bit, and it allows for an insane amount of customization between whatever legendary card you have paired with your loadouts paired with your items. So it's kind of moving to somewhat of a talent tier item system that you can see in a lot of MOBA games as well. They've kind of dragged that concept over into a first-person shooter. All right, let's move to the next major update. A new game mode is Survival. I'm really excited to see this because I feel like having Siege and Payload were kind of a little bit dull. Nobody really plays Payload mode. Everyone plays Siege. And while PvE is fun, it changes all the time and it just feels a little bit lackluster. So survival mode is basically a deathmatch, 5-on-5 with a best of 5 mode. What's really cool about the survival mode maps is that, for one thing, they're already pretty small, but there's fog on the outside of them, and as time goes by, the fog moves in closer and closer to the center of the map, and the fog does, I believe it's 30% of your basic health damage to you as you're in the fog. So it moving in closer and closer kind of puts more pressure for there to be team fights, and it makes for a really quick game. So now we have Siege mode, Payload mode, PvE mode, and Survival mode. All right, moving on to a couple of general things. We now have crosshair customization, which I know that's been something the community has been begging for a while now. In the past, you've been able to change small things like the color, and I believe you were allowed to change kind of the range of it, but now you can change the actual legitimate crosshair of how you want it based on whatever champion you're playing. Another addition is the Dreadhunter Drogo skin. I really like that they are starting to add more skins to the game. Finally, they're starting to add more and more skins to the game. They've usually had 1 or 2 skins available per patch that they've done. I think the last like 5 or 6 patches or something, there's always been a skin in it. So adding more and more skins to the game just adds for kind of the diversity of how you play it and how you customize your champion. All right, as we move down to champions, it's going to list all of the legendary cards that are attached to that champion. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to go over legendary cards in this video. I really don't want to go over 3 legendary cards for every single champion. If you want to look at them, definitely look at them yourself. I'll probably have some gameplay of some legendary cards. I played a little bit of Tyra and Maeve on the PTS today. They both have some pretty good legendary cards that I would definitely suggest checking out. So with this huge Season 1 update, there's a lot of changes to actually a lot of champions. So first we'll go with Androxus. His accuracy has been increased from 75 to 82%, which is pretty huge as somebody playing in a flank class. That just about pretty much guarantees a kill if you're flanking on someone with low health. The one card that they have changed is Patience. They renamed it to Elusive, and it now gains 10, 20, 30, 40% movement speed after 2 seconds after using Nether Step. So this percentage change, as opposed to the stable kind of number factors, how it used to be, is something that it's kind of like they're slowly moving into percentages instead of solid numbers, because it all depends on the champion that you're playing and the champion that you're also playing against. We saw that a lot in the previous patch, how a lot of the cards were reworked a little bit. I'm not going to say they were nerfed, and I'm not going to say they were buffed. They were just changed to be listed as percentages instead of stable factors. All right, Barrick. Okay, his fall off is reduced from 80 to 85 and reduces the minimum damage at maximum fall off range from 10 to 50%. Barrick is probably, I would have to say, one of the most popular tanks out right now, one of the most popular frontliners. So I think this is more to just equal him out compared to the other frontliners, not necessarily make him stand out or stand under, I guess. This is just clearly kind of a balance thing. Buck's net shot no longer grants bonus damage after hitting net shot. Oh man, that kind of sucks. Moving to Bomb King. Detonate no longer grants bonus damage for hitting the same target with multiple detonated sticky bombs. So you could just unload and unload and unload sticky bombs. So basically the bonus damage doesn't stack anymore. It still does the base damage per sticky bomb. And kind of the same thing goes with Grumpy Bomb. It no longer deals bonus damage to shields. I guess you could say this is a little bit of a nerf for him. But if you're a good Bomb King and you can land those sticky bombs, it doesn't matter. There's 2 major cards for him that got changed, Accelerant and Doomsday. They both got renamed. Accelerant allows Poppy Bomb to heal you for 50, 100, 150, 200, and Grumpy Bomb actually now heals you for 50, 100, 150, and 200, which is really cool if you take into consideration how much Grumpy Bomb is used and how it is used. All right, moving down to Cassie. This is kind of a bummer. Nerf Cassie. A dodge roll no longer grants bonus damage for your next shot, so typically after you dodge roll, you would get a little bit of bonus damage from your next shot. That is not the case anymore. And disengage no longer grants damage bonus for your next hit after disengage. So kind of the same thing. You're not really stacking that bonus damage anymore. Probably a lot of the reason for these minor nerfs is the addition of the legendary cards. So whatever you're losing in these nerfs, you're probably going to gain depending on which legendary card you pick. Drogo's rocket launcher, his damage for the rocket launcher was reduced from 950 to 850, and his thrusters no longer grant bonus damage after using thrust. So going along with the same thing of reducing the bonus damage and reducing damage overall because of these legendary cards. His crowd control got changed a little bit, nothing too major. With Eevee's Ice Block, it no longer provides bonus damage to marked targets and no longer applies a slowing field to targets nearby. I really liked the slowing addition after Ice Blocks, so I'm not Not super excited to see that. A couple of her cards got a little bit reworked and they actually got renamed. And as you can see, like I said earlier, they're moving to more of a percentage listing instead of putting hard numbers on them. So this affects Over the Moon, Wormhole, Reprieve, and Frigid Field. All right, moving down to Fernando, his Fireball no longer grants bonus damage for hitting multiple targets with Fireball. That's just going along with the bonus damage nerfs. So Grok's Shock Pulse bonus damage is increased from 75 to 125. Wow, a healer who has damage increase. Who'da thunk? A couple of Grover's cards got changed, going along with the same thing with the percentage change. Kinessa's Sniper Rifle no longer deals bonus damage for a fully charged shot. Wow, that's... I would say that's a nerf, and then I read the next line that says increases the maximum damage from 1,000 to 1,200. So although a fully charged shot doesn't deal the bonus damage that you would want to come from it, the maximum damage kind of equals it out because it's being raised from 1,000 to 1,200. All right, my girl Maeve. Oh no, her movement speed has been reduced from 400 to 385. Bummer. And the cooldown on Pounce is reduced from 8 to 10 seconds. So you'll probably see a lot of chronos taken. That way she can use Pounce pretty much as often as humanly possible. But as you can see, in reaction to the reduced movement speed, her Scamper card now gains movement speed when activating Pounce, and the duration has been increased to 3 seconds. And her Sixth Sense card now goes to the percentage base. Alright, Makoa's Dread Anchor no longer grants bonus damage. Going along with the same thing, Maldamba's Dread Serpent no longer causes enemies to take increased damage. Pip's Explosive Flask no longer grants bonus damage after hitting an enemy with Explosive Flask. And the Healing Potion, oh, here's one really cool thing. Healing Potion, when you reactivate it in flight, it also detonates. So say you've got Androxus, or say you have Drogos, or even Maeve that is up in the sky flying or jumping or whatever, and you notice that they're low on health, you can throw a flask at them and detonate it while it's in the air, and it will also heal them. That's pretty cool. And I will point out, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about legendary cards, but I actually played Pip on the PTS earlier today, and if you pick Mega Potion for his legendary, it heals twice as much but has double the cooldown. So throwing something like that to a Maeve that's about to die into the air and fully healing her with just one potion, yeah. That's what I have to say about that. Alright, Ruckus's Repulsor Field, the damage reduction is reduced from 50 to 30%. Wow. And it can now be used when not standing on the objective. Oh... Thank you. I can't tell you how annoying it is me trying to mash my Q when I'm like right next to the objective but not necessarily on it. It doesn't look like Shaolin got any changes other than his legendary cards. Oh boy, more sky changes because that's all we need. Poison Bolts no longer grant bonus damage when hitting enemies, and Smokescreen's radius is increased from 15 to 25 feet. Oh boy, okay. So now Sky is going to be much easier to escape. With that increased radius for sure. The couple of changes to her cards, like the other ones, the reworks and the percentages. No major changes to Torvald other than the legendary cards. The same thing goes for Tyra and Victor, it looks like. And with Ying, her Illusory Mirror no longer deals bonus damage when hitting all 5 shots on the same target. Okay, so this is a lot of changes, a lot to take in. I don't think anything is so major that it's just going to blow your mind other than the legendary cards. My advice would be to just get used to how the legendary cards work. There's not really any huge major changes to any of these champions. It's mostly just about equaling the playing field. Like I said, I'm going to be going over a lot more details on legendary cards and how they work. I was really confused about how exactly they worked, how you got them, what do you get them with, how are they used, with stuff like that when I was getting into the PTS. So I'm going to be making a video probably right after this one about how those legendary cards work and how they're going to affect you. Alright everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and comment down below. What do you think about these changes? How do you like the addition of legendary cards? Do you think they kind of promote the pay-to-win system, dare I say? That was a lot of controversy when people were hearing about legendary cards, or talents, what they used to be called. Let me know what you guys think about it. That's going to be it for this patch review for OB44. As I said, it is currently on the PTS. It should be on the live servers sometime around Monday or Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.